Good morning. It's a little after 6 a.m. Here's one of the projects that we did this year was paint the chicken coop. Clematis is nicely in bloom. It looks so pretty against the blue. But their blossoms are absolutely beautiful. Field's looking nice. Elderberries are growing nicely. And then the blueberries here have some beautiful blossoms. So they're looking nice. And then our raised bed here along the hoop house planted several rows of different varieties of lettuce. So that's growing nice. Left some area to plant more a little later on in the season so we have enough. This is garlic. And then these are little tiny Tim tomatoes. And that one's nicely in blossom. And then we have bachelor buttons and different flowers planted in between too. Here's another tiny Tim. And then we bought a bunch of little onions. These were seed onions. So I just cut the tops off when I planted them. And they're doing great now. They were looking a little sad because we didn't have much rain, but they're looking better now. And then we have a whole bunch of self-seeded nasturtium from last year. More bachelor buttons. Here's a currant bush. Starting to have some currants turn red. The birds will be after them soon. And this garden bed over here, this is East of Eden. And we have squash and zucchini and tiny Tim tomatoes in these buckets here. And this bed is zucchini. And we only had one that actually germinated. So we replanted that. And then here's some more tiny Tim tomatoes. And this is all horseradish. This is Cannery Row. Signs I made a couple years ago. We installed these awesome dragonfly lights. They're solar powered. It's kind of cool to look up here and see that at night. And then this is a flower bed. And these are our beets. These are ruby queens. And once they get a little bigger and stuff, we'll harvest some for greens and thin them out a little bit. But each seed has multiple plants that come out of it. So and this is carrots. They're a little hard to see because they're very young still. But these are Baltimore hybrids. And here's another beet bed. Ruby Queen again. And then there's a borage right in the middle. That's self-seeded from a previous year. And this is all garlic. And that should start having scapes come out. Oh, yep, there's one right here. Scape starting. Oh, that's a hard neck garlic. And here's another carrot bed. And these carrots are a little easier to see on this one. You can actually see the rows that I planted. Baltimore hybrid. And then we have spinach and kale that we've harvested from a couple times for meals. And this is our pepper bed. This is all bell peppers, green bell peppers. You can see the little peppers on there growing. There's tons set and more blossoms. There's another good sized one coming on. This is coleus. There, we had one lavender survivor. But it's doing good, starting to regrow, so that's good. And then this is our pea bed. This is all snap peas, sugar snap peas, edible pods. They're doing good. Trellised them up a little bit because they were tipping over with the wind because the wind was so strong for a while there. But pretty soon we should be getting blossoms on them and then having some edible pod peas. And here is the bean bed. It's looking a little sad right now. It needs some water, but it hasn't rained very much. And we have more peas here that we started. This is a later batch, so we can have a staggered picking. And then we planted little dills along the side here too, so we can have them when we make pickles. We have 3 strawberry beds. They're starting to turn now. We had to cover them with nets because the critters have been, well, I should say birds, have been pecking at the ripening berries. And then here's another bean bed, and this has lettuce planted along with it too. And this is the hoop house this year. We did 2 3/4 rows of tomatoes. There's a couple different varieties. We have Abe Lincoln, which are these ones here. Looks like we have 12. Of these plants. I just took off the suckers and trellised them a little better, and leaves that were touching the ground Saturday morning. So, and we've had several volunteer tomatoes coming up that we don't want those, just the ones we planted this year. But they're doing amazing. They have little buds set. So pretty soon we should be getting flowers on them. So we have another variety. Looks like we have 6 of the celebrity in this row too, right on the end of the Abe Lincolns. And then some more celebrities here. They're looking amazing. Some more buds. And then we have Amish paste tomatoes, which we planted about 14 of, I guess. And then we have more celebrity and Abe Lincoln tomatoes and more Amish paste. Amish paste do great for like spaghetti sauces and club sauce, which is like a salsa type thing. So that's what they're good for. Nice meaty tomato. This year, and grow cotton. So we tried cotton. We're trying cotton this year. So we did 2 plant survivors that came up from seed that I bought, and it looks like it has a little blossom on it. So trying that this year. And I also planted collards in here, which this is a collard. But there's some more collards. That seed, it looks like I need to replant because it didn't come up because I planted a couple rows of collards. So I gotta replant that. But this is one of the first rows that were planted, and that's how big it is. And it was planted about a week and a half, 2 weeks before the others that I planted. But it's getting little leaves. It's doing good. This is a bed with summer squash in it. So this is yellow crookneck. And then we planted asparagus in here last year, but only one survived. And it's ferned right now. But we're going to have to thin those out when they get a little bigger. Just because that many won't do well. And this is our asparagus bed. And it's ferned out good. This is all mulch hay. So once our potatoes come up, we will be mulching them in with the wood chips and hay. The wood chips are from a bunch of trees and stuff that got broken with a huge snowstorm we had, and then tons of wind, and it broke a whole bunch of trees all across the area. So we had to cut them down and we wood chip them for the garden. This apple tree is doing amazing. It's got some apples set and they're growing. And this is a Cortland apple tree. But you can see their little apples. It doesn't have many set, but more than it has ever had, so it's amazing. We're super excited. And then this is Eden. This is what we named this garden area. So we have 1.5, well, I think, yeah, 1.5 rows of potatoes. We planted red potatoes and Kennebecs. Both the, well, I know the Kennebec at least is a determinate variety. And then we planted 3 rows of potatoes, 3 40-foot rows of potatoes along that edge too. And then we planted 2 rows of cabbages and some onion sets in between those, because that's supposed to deter, pests from being amazing. Those were grown from seed. And here's another apple tree. And this has got little apples set too. I believe this is a crab apple tree. So it's got tons of apples set. And then this year we are also trying broomcorn, which is what these little guys are. And it says that they get like 6 feet tall or something, but they look a lot like just regular corn plants. But they're doing really good. I started those from seed. It's supposed to be multiple colors. And the weeds up here are really hard to control, so we're going to try to get that all mulched. So it'll, kill all those off. We've tried burning them too, which is what this is. It's all burnt. Torched them. And here we have another apple tree. I don't believe this one has any apples on it, but it's doing good nonetheless. And then we have all these potato plants coming up. So we're gonna hill these again, and then we're gonna put the mulch and stuff on top of them so they're good and protected. They have lots of area to grow potatoes. We have elderberries here, and they keep spreading, so that's good. We want lots of elderberries and more elderberries. Been very busy this spring, so we haven't videoed much. But this year we also had to, we fenced in this area because last year Hannibal and Maud decided that they wanted to eat all the cabbage plants, which was really bad. So we didn't get any cabbages from our garden last year. So it was quite disheartening. So it got this short electric chicken netting on that this year. And then we have more elderberry. And this is, I believe, black currant, this bush. It does have some little berries set. And then we have raspberries. These did absolutely amazing last year. And some currants up here. Plant some currant bushes. So we really like currants. We really like elderberries. And here's a Bartlett pear tree. And this is our flower bed this year. We have tons of lily of the valley coming up. It's beautiful. I planted poppies in these little watering can planters. And it turns out the chickens like to eat them too. They ate half of them. And this is Jacob's ladder. It's a new hydrangea. It's looking like somebody's been eating it. This guy get weeded again. Oh, we do have a poppy open. It's pretty. So that's poppy. I love this. It's so cool. It's a rock. Something rock. I can't remember the exact name of it. And then this rose bush, we weren't sure survived, but it looks like it did. Get a bunch of, I believe they're daffodil bulbs in here. The fire poker, we weren't sure survived, but it did. It's got a little spike coming up. Another poppy. That's Mort. He's the guardian. And then this is Silver Mound. This is beautiful. And then some pansies. And this is another poppy that I planted. Absolutely love this one. I found these cool little flag hangers. They work good. It's like a safety pin. You just slide your flag over this rod. And it just slides right back in there. There's like a little notch. But it works amazing.